Hey everybody, this is Sliders Prime, and I'm here today to talk to you about Season 4, Episode 12, The Dying Fields. So this is one of my all-time favorite episodes of Season 4. It's a very good, action-packed, self-discovery type episode. And one of the things that makes it special is that we get our very first look at a human Cro-Mag hybrid, a Humag. And this will be the first time we'll ever see an adult version. The second time we'll ever see one is a baby version. And then after that, they're never seen again, which is really weird and bizarre. And, the whole concept of the Humags is a very sad and depressing one on both sides. And I don't understand if all season 4 is going to deal with the whole Cro-Mag war and season 5 going to deal with it as well. You think you would see more Humags and everything. It's just one of those things they kind of dropped the ball on, and they really should have had more. But it's a good thing they finally showed us one because, they kept talking about the breeder camps a lot. And so it's kind of okay, well, what do one of these things look like? One of these people and stuff, And they finally showed us. And this episode is really good and dramatic because, you don't get to spend too much time in the life of a human, but you find out their purpose, and they only have one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to serve the Cro-Mag dynasty. They are soldiers and nothing more. They have no personal life, no nothing. And they're treated like scum. Basically, they're like slaves who are forced to fight in a war and everything. And it's really sad and really tragic. And I really wish they could have explored this more in more episodes, but at least we got one. So that's a good thing, But it's one of those things that they just should have, explored a bit more and everything. Now, this episode is actually directed by the new showrunner, David Peckinpah? Is that how you say his name? I still don't know. I used to hold so much resentment towards that man for many years and just a huge grudge because when I found out he was a new showrunner and the show went downhill in season 3 and onwards until the end of the show, I just held so much rage against that man. But you know what? Like I said before, I'm not gonna shade that man. Not just because he's dead, but the fact is now that I'm older and I'm starting to understand things a bit more in Hollywood and stuff, it's not always the showrunner's fault. Sometimes it is. And other times it is the network. All these people in business suits that dip their toes in the TV shows and movies and interfere in the creative process of a showrunner. But the showrunner does take responsibility because they still put out whatever it is they put out and could have put out something a bit better. There's been so many shows that have disappointed me because the showrunners just lost control of what they was doing. It's like an old phrase I say, put a dog collar around the showrunner, put the chain on them and tug on it when they go a little bit too far. Bring them back to reality and everything. Because sometimes they can go too far in a direction. It's kind of what the heck are you doing? Stuff, and it's just kind of some creators, they get too into their vision, and then they ruin projects. I can't think of a show off the top of my head that just went completely. You know what? Nah, I can't. Pretty Little Liars, Original Sin, and the second season, Summer School. Now, I'm a fan of the original Pretty Little Liars that was on Freeform. But this stinking reboot on HBO Max, man, that man tries too freaking hard. It's the guy who created Riverdale, and it's the guy who created The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. It's just, I don't understand how this man constantly keeps getting people to give him TV shows just so he can muck them up and everything. And I said muck with an M, not an F. It it's just kind of like, dude, like, I get it. You have your own style, you got your own vision, but it's just like, your stuff's a little too out there, man. And when people who work on your show literally make fun of the show they're on and ask to be written off, or they ask to be killed off, then you're not as creative as you think. But anyways, so I'm not gonna like diss the David dude, because it might not all just be his fault. Some of it probably is, but some of it probably isn't. And so when it comes to this episode, there's also like a really interesting episode where Rembrandt, who really is xenophobic towards Cro-Mags, is starting to ease up on them a bit. Which each passing episode, something will happen that'll cause him to ease up just a tiny little bit. But this episode is where a Humag actually saved his life. And it's to the point where he actually shook her hand and everything, and realized that, maybe they're not all as bad as people think. That is something people need to keep in mind, especially in today's time with all these wars going around. It's like people have lost their humanity, and people have lost this one old lesson people used to teach, is that you might hate what a country does to either your country or another country. You can hate their government all you want. You can hate their military all you want. But you gotta remember, not every single last person in that country is the same way, and not everybody is evil. That is a lesson that, the world had to learn back in World War II, because not every German person was an evil person. And so Rembrandt had to learn this lesson via, it took saving his life, but hey, I'll take it and everything, This episode's also a little interesting because we get some people from another dimension onto another world and everything. We get only a little time with them, but the time we do get is very interesting. I kind of wish that, we could have spent just a tiny bit, not like a whole lot, just a tiny bit on, seeing these people not act so nonchalant about being on this world. Because the thing that's kind of odd is that the humans, see, this is what this episode's about. So the Cro-Mags, they have inhabited this world, and they hunt on this world. They use it as target practice. They use it as a training facility. And so they're trained, well, I can't talk. They train to hunt down and kill humans and stuff, because they're still going through that war with the humans. And so they abduct people from their world, put them on this world, and give them a weapon, some rations, and let them be on their way as they hunt them down. And they tell them in 20 days, if you survive, you can go back home. And so they tag these people with tattoos. Now, the thing about these people is that they don't even know they're on another planet. Or I bet yet not another planet, but another universe and stuff. They assume they're just doing their nonchalant thing at home, and all of a sudden there's a bright light in a spaceship, and they get sucked up in these weird looking thing called Cro-Mags or aliens, and they took them to an area where they hunt them down. That is what they assume. And so, they don't even know they're on another planet. But then here's the weird thing. They act so nonchalant when they are on this planet. They're not freaking out. Well, they've been there for over 20 days, so that's probably why not. But it's just kind of they just go with the flow. They're like, oh, okay, aliens, we get to stay here for 20 days and we survive. We get to go home. Sure, why not? They just so casual about it, and it's weird. You think they would be freaking out more, or just something, So it would have been nice if when they was talking to our group of sliders, and the sliders mentioned a city, and they're all like, What, San Francisco? What the heck is that? Like, we don't have that on, like, well, on where we're from. And then somebody's all like, yeah, it's called like something something else, and someone like, no, my city is called this this and that. And they could be like, hey, where the heck are we at? Like, it would have been nice to have a little interaction like that. But with the runtime and what we get, they don't have that much time. But this is like a nice throwaway line. Just like once a little casual thing would have been fun. You know what I'm saying? And so when it comes to this episode, it starts off with the sliders coming out the vortex, and they're at this nice, like, luscious type place with like a I guess you call it, what is it, like a river, or I don't know, it's a river or a lake. I can't remember which is which. It's like a little, like, not mountain flood. Crap, what is it? I think it's like a river. So I'll just say a river. So it's like a nice little river type thing, maybe a lake, heck if I know. And a nice little waterfall and everything. And so Rembrandt is thirsty and he wants to drink from it. But Quinn, being a smart person he is, he's all like, he wouldn't drink from that unless you have some disinfectant. Why is that important? Well, something I never knew until I watched this one Netflix show. So a couple of years back, there was this Netflix show called Greenhouse Academy. I think that's what it was called. And it was a remake of another show from another country. And so it's basically these, like, these smart kids, they're at this like institution, and like, some high-tech technology, and they're going hiking, and there's like a water stream going somewhere. And so their instructor tells them, you can't drink the water until you put this pill in your bottle, and it will disinfect the water, because water that hits the ground and in rivers and streams and lakes is really disgusting with all the bacteria, and it can kill you. One boy decided to drink it without putting the pill in there, and he nearly died. And I'm just like, wow, I would have assumed if you would have, like, you always watch TV shows of people drinking water from like lakes and rivers, and they're like totally fine. So I would assume that if I was like stranded somewhere, or the freaking zombie apocalypse happened, and I'm like roaming the countryside and need a drink of water, apparently you can't do that. And everything. So it makes you wonder, how the heck did our ancestors survive and everything? There has to be some clean drinking water somewhere in those, like, out there in Mother Nature, you know what I'm saying? But I heard, like, if you are out stranded somewhere and it's like raining, you just take your shirt, you hold up your shirt kind of like a cup, and you just drink from that and everything. That's like the best way you can do it, like, to survive and everything. And so, like, but Rembrandt can't drink no water because of dead body up in there. And so, like, as they're like, trying to figure out like what's going on and stuff, we get to see, our enemy and everything. They witnessed two humags like killing a man and then chopping off his wrist, or his hand, I should say. And so they're trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And of course, Rembrandt, he's pissed, because he doesn't like the Cro-Mags because of what they did to him. But, like, they're observing, like, what's going on. And they realize these Cro-Mags look really human in the face. And they have hair. Now, that's the problem right there with the continuity. There are two types of Cro-Mags. There are the ones from season 2, and then there are the ones from season 4 and 5. And when in season 2, when they was on Fox, they looked more like apes with like long, like, nappy looking hair. And when they got into season 4 and 5 on Sci-Fi, they decided, okay, we're just gonna make them look kind of, no, I don't know what really they look like. They look this human with bald, wrinkled, not bald, wrinkled head, but like bald heads that are kind of clumpy, and like razor sharp teeth and some cranial ridges to the sides of their face and cheeks and everything, and a very broad nose. They kind of look like a Ferengi, but without the long ears and stuff. And so, like, So these look a bit more human, but then the regular Cro-Mags in season 4 and 5 look a bit more human as well. But hey, whatever. But these look totally human in the face. Now, one problem I have with the prosthetics is that this only happens in the first time we see them, and when we see the two Humags, the makeup department did not apply makeup to their face and to the prosthetics on their forehead to blend it in naturally. So their face is one color and their prosthetics is kind of like a tannish brown color. It's really odd to look at, and I can't help but to look at it. But after this scene, then the makeup artist finally did their freaking job and applied makeup all around their face to blend it in. You got one job, man. You got one stinking job. It's like, ain't they learned anything from watching them Star Trek shows? Like, like all those aliens, like Worf, the dude who played him, Michael Dorn. Yeah, he's a black man, but he ain't that shade of brown. They have to paint like a brown complexion on his face to match that of the prosthetics on his face. And, so it's one of those things that just can't unsee. And, these Humags, there's two of them. There's a male and a female. The female is named Kyra, and she's played by Kristen Dalton. And she's been in like a lot of stuff, but she's only been in actually one television show she was a main cast member. Other than that, she just guest stars in a bunch of stuff. But she also starred with that of Jack Nicholson. Now, the other Humag, and I can't pronounce his name, it's Puttis or something like that. They only say his name one time. It's a weird way how they spell it. I think it's Kryptus. I think there might be an O in there somewhere, but I can't remember. Now, he is played by Scott Decker, and may that dude rest in peace. He died in 2015. I had no idea. That's so sad. A lot of people dying from sliders. And so, like, he talks about like how General Kronos wants like the eyes and everything like that, and he's a little upset because he wanted to have that kill because he hasn't had that many. And it's so gross when they take out the eyes and stuff like that. And so with these two Cro-Mags, when they go back to like their headquarters and everything, their base of operation, we find out that like from General Kronos, who has a bunch of scars on his face, and we find out from Kronos he can't even count. But anyways, it's like, he's training them to be in the elite warrior status. So as many kills as they can get, they can be in the elite warrior status. And that's like a very high ranking thing. He hates Humags, and he lets them know it constantly. See, the reason why there are Humags is because on Quinn's Earth of Cro-Mag Prime, his parents created like this force field around their planet. So if you slide to their planet, you get bounced off and go to the slide cage. But we learn from these people that somebody created a virus that only targets Cro-Mags. And so like a Cro-Mag female will die after giving birth. I believe maybe the kids die as well, but that's in another episode from a different Earth and everything, to where if you have a Cro-Mag baby, there's like a virus that kills all Cro-Mags. But here with this virus, they just state that it only kills the female. So they had to find another way to reproduce. So, they started kidnapping human females and putting them in breeder camps, and where the gestation and the pregnancy of the Cro-Mag baby is inside the human woman. Most likely whoever created that virus is from another Earth and everything, because the Cro-Mags go to different Earths and try to take their resources and kill people and stuff like that, and a lot of people are savvy to them and their technology and try to defeat them and stuff. And it's sad because Wade is in one of these breeder camps and everything. And you know, when I started thinking about that years ago when I watched this show, I thought, okay, maybe they do IVF or something like that. But I'm thinking, no, they most likely they probably go old school in making these babies. I'm like, oh no, like Wade got like assaulted and everything. And so like we never see none of these breeder. No, maybe we do. No, I don't think we do. I don't believe we ever saw a breeder camp. I don't believe. That one episode with the mother and the baby, she ran away from one, but we never got to see the inside. So that's something I've always wanted to see and see how alien technology looking wise it does, And so like when it comes to both these two humags, Kara is the more compassionate one. She's more jokey and everything. She's also more curious, whereas the dude, whose name I am not gonna pronounce again, he is very aggressive. He has an attitude problem. He hates humans to death, and he hates the way he looks. He said later on in the episode, if he could rip the human side out of him, he would. This is really sad to see that the Chromats have taught these humans to hate their human side. There are people like that who, teach their own kind to hate their own race. And it's just really sad. Like there's this one actress I used to talk to from another country, and she's white. And you can't call her that. She will get pissed because she has a huge disdain towards her own race and everything. And and it's just sad when people are taught to hate themselves. And so it was really nice to see that in this episode. Yeah, I know that sounds weird, but I'm talking about like on a writing, emotional level and everything, and to see how these different types of humans act, which is kind of weird because Cro-Mags are technically human. They're just a different looking variant version of a human, and these Humags are two different types of humans. So that's kind of like really interesting, And so, like, the dude, he's like, because the girl, Kyra, she tells the general she didn't like get no eyes for him or nothing like that. But then the dude rats her out because he's trying to like get up ahead, and he delivers the eyes and like, what's the name lied to you and blah, 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 and all this other crap, Anyway, back with our sliders. So, like, they're trying to figure out what's going on, why they took that dude's hand, and they see that the guy had a tattoo on him. They don't know why, but Rembrandt's all like, look, man, we got to take them out. And Colin's like, nah, I think we should hide out. But Maggie agrees with, like, Rembrandt, and it's all like, we got to figure out what they're doing on this earth and, like, stop them. And while they're doing that, they're going through that dude's stuff, and they find, like, a bunch of survival stuff. And Colin, he is very fascinated by a Swiss Army knife. And so, like, you remember, he comes from a world that's kind of like the Wild Wild West. And so while they're talking, they happen to see a like rifle starting to like peek out the corner and everything, a little machine gun. And so they sneak up behind this woman and ask her, like, yo, what the heck are you doing and stuff, as she's dressed in fatigues and stuff. Now this woman is Jenny, and she was in a show I've never watched before. Something, I forget the name of it. The Secret World of Alex Max or something like that. That was like on Nickelodeon. I've never seen that, but she played like Annie Mac and everything. And so, like, she tells them what happened. She was asleep one day, woke up to a shining light. She was on some type of alien ship, and then she was here. And they told her, the whole 20-day thing and everything. So she takes them back to her hideout, which is, of course, the Chandler Hotel, which is completely ransacked now, where they meet the rest of her group. We get to see a dude named Spence. He's very aggressive, and he has some tattoos on him. One of the tattoos he has is the bat symbol on his back, which is so awesome. But he doesn't care. He's like, you know what, couple more hours and I'm out of here. Jenny gets 2 days, so whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so I think they explain what the Chromax are, because they don't even really know themselves. And I think they're the ones who explain to them, hey, you're on a parallel Earth and everything and stuff, which they still don't seem to care, but like whatever. And so at some point, when did this happen? They wanted to check out, I think the Cro-Mag like area or something like that. They wanted to check out. I forget what it is. And so like, no, wait. When does Colin get taken? I forget. Does he get taken before or after? I think it happened at night. No, yeah, maybe it happened at night. So anyway, they go back to some little area for some bizarre reason, and the Cro-Mags are there, and they start shooting up the place. So then they start shooting up the place, and so like Jenny ends up getting shot, and Colin ends up getting taken. And I was sad to see Jenny go. I'm like, oh man, I want to spend some more time with her and stuff, And so, because she was so nice and everything, and so like friendly to them and everything. It's nice to always have some person be nice to like the Sliders. So Spence is pissed that like Jenny has been killed and everything like that, and so like Colin is being interrogated by the Chromax and the Humax and stuff. And I'll tell you right here, this dude is holding his own. He has a stiff upper lip. He's not like cracking under pressure or nothing like that. And so the woman Kyra, she's very curious and stuff for some bizarre reason. Like she's been near humans before. She has killed them. She has taken their eyes. She has taken their hands. But for some reason, she's just very curious to look at like Colin for whatever reason, which is kind of odd because it don't make no sense because she has been around humans and stuff. But like after sensing his mind, she realizes that he's afraid not for himself but for other people. So now the hunt is on. And so while he there, Colin and her are like talking, and like I said before, the dude's like holding his own. He's not going to be intimidated by her, nothing like that. And she is trying her best to intimidate him, but it's just not working and stuff. And the thing about Kyra I also like is I love her curiosity. She reminds me a little bit of 7 of 9, but with a personality to her. And so with his, like, after somehow he pissed her off the way she put down the force field, and when she did, that dude came in and she never put it back up. So Colin used this opportunity to get his Swiss Army knife, using the blade, which caused a spark in like his handcuffs are electronic. So he picks the lock with the wooden toothpick. Hey, whatever floats the writer's boat. You know what I'm saying? And so at this point in time, the Sliders are going to look for like Colin and everything. And, they get ambushed by that of Kyra and they take her in. Now, one thing that's really odd that I always find about like Maggie is that she's supposed to be a Marine. And every time they give her like a rifle in her hand, she always holds it in a very odd kind of way. And when she shoots it in a very odd kind of way. And I'm just kind of like, your character's a trained Marine. Like, you think they would have taught her how to hold it and like shoot it better. It's just one of those things you can't unsee when you see her like use it and stuff. So anyways, Rembrandt ends up getting shot up by like their energy weapon and stuff. And so when they take Kyra hostage, she cracks under freaking pressure. Quinn is literally gonna take a rifle and bust her kneecap out. And she just starts spilling her beans. And everything. And so she lets him know that the weapon they use has like a radiation signature to it. So basically it's like getting shot with like a nuclear bullet and everything. If the bullet don't kill you, the radiation poison will. And Rembrandt's wound is so gross with that pus on it. Ugh. Like this episode can get kind of gross, especially with the eyeballs and stuff. That's so nasty in the bag. So anyways, Quinn realizes that, look, man, I gotta find my brother and I gotta help Rembrandt out. But the stuff they got, the medical stuff, is not gonna be good enough. And Colin is the one with the slider, the timer. And so he thinks, hey, maybe if I can talk to this woman, I can reach her humanity. Where Spence is all like, look, man, give me 5 minutes with a knife and I'll go old school. But so, you have Quinn doing the diplomatic thing, trying to talk to her, trying to reason with her, but he reasons with her a little too much. He takes like the handcuffs off her, gives her water, and it's just kind of like, dude, you don't even know the woman's strength level. She's a trained soldier. I'm surprised she didn't try to take him out. But like I said before, she is very curious. So they have themselves a nice little chat. But Quinn gets a little touchy and tries to touch her face. And she lets him know just how strong she is and stuff. And so she gets so curious because when she was talking with Colin earlier, he mentioned his mother, something she has no concept of. And so Quinn brought that up. And so she wants to know more about what a mother is and what a brother is, because this is things they have never been taught and stuff, which is really fascinating, which is why they should explore the Humags a bit more. Like if they really wanted to have a good season 5 or a good season 4 finale, what if they would have slid to a world where they found more Humags and try to reach their humanity and have them revolt against the Cro-Mags? That would have been a great event and everything. So anyways, she uses her little like Cro-Mag Vulcan mind trick thing on Rembrandt to heal his body. And you know how cool, like, God, they could heal any type of wound or disease. God, if only people could do that with just their mind, man. But she saves his life, and, because she says she doesn't desire him to die. She's killed plenty of them and stuff. It's just, she wants to be more human and learn more about humans and stuff. And this is what causes Rembrandt to kind of, not hate them as much as he did before. Well, Colin comes in and everything, and he's kind of surprised to see her there. Well, the dude Humag, he tracked them down, and this dude takes out everybody in the hotel because the dude, his general, told him, hey, look, man, find me the humans that came with this human and I'll get you that elite status and everything. But he does more than that. I mean, he takes out everybody, but he reveals that he killed 6 and there are 3 that are left. The 3 that are left are probably the ones that were already there, not our sliders. And so, of course, our sliders, they survive and everything. And Quinn tells her, look, man, come with us and everything and leave this place. But she wants to try and reason with the other Humag dude because that Humag guy likes her romantically and she kind of likes him back romantically. But she kind of is a little romantically into Quinn as well, as she desires to touch his face in almost a romantic kind of way. Everybody's always falling in love with Quinn. So anyway, she's trying her best to talk to that human Cro-Mag dude, but he refuses. He hates humans. He hates his body. He hates the human inside him. And when he realizes he can't convince her that she's been brainwashed, he kills her and everything. As the sliders are sliding out it. Now, Colin does a very stupid thing. When he activates the tunnel, he does it behind the Humags. Why in the world are you going to activate the tunnel behind a man who's trying to kill you? And it's going to prevent you from going through the tunnel and everything. That just never made no sense to me. But Colin is Colin. So she dies and everything as the sliders get away. And as the general and the rest of them come, he wants to know what happened. Did humans kill her? And he lets her know, nah, man, I did it because she got brainwashed. So, of course, the general loves to hear this. And the dude got his elite status. Then we get to see something that kind of surprised me. When he picks up her body to throw her in the dumpster and everything, he's crying and stuff because he's really upset that he killed her and everything. And I'm just like, oh man, he really did love her and everything. But it's like, but he rather see her dead than to see her turn to like the human side and stuff. So yeah, this is like one of my favorite episodes. It's action packed, it's self discovery, it's like curiosity, like it's just like all kind of stuff wrapped up in a really good episode, you know? And of course, the Humags. Now, sadly, you won't be able to watch this on Roku channel anymore. They took sliders off. You'll have to watch it on Peacock, but you'll have to pay, I believe. I did say something. I did see something called the Fandango something where you can. It says you can watch it for free. I have no idea. That's really sucks because Sliders is an older show, and you would assume that an older show like Sliders would probably be on Tubi or something like that, but it's not. And it also sucks because there's been a slight resurgence in Sliders again. When I was looking up, like, this episode for like pictures and stuff, I've seen people on Reddit talk about Sliders back in 2022. I'm just like, really? People are talking about this show again? Like, that's so awesome and stuff. And every time people start to like re-talk about this show, they just take it off like streaming and crap.